So hello everyone. Today we have with us Gurtej, who, like many of you, belong to a tier 3 college here in Kolkata. And then he got his first job at TCS, and then he switched to Amazon, then to Microsoft, and is currently going for Meta London. So he is going to introduce himself in today's podcast, and we have a very big surprise for all of you by the end of this podcast. So stay tuned. So Gurtej, over to you. Please let us know about yourself, how your college journey was, and how you got into your first job at TCS.
Hi, Sunil. Thank you for having me. I'll talk about my college days. So, you know about the college in Bengal, the tier 3 colleges in West Bengal. So, how it is, how it works. And for me, as a fresher, when I joined in first year, I didn't have any target what to do. So, I just joined there. I got involved in robotics, as usual, the first year things. I went on to coding. I understood what coding is. I had little bit of experience on coding before because I used to do HTML and CSS during my school days. But it was very different from the coding that we do in colleges and that company expects us to. So going into the college, it was very different. I started on, I looked upon my seniors, like what they are doing. And I felt like I was lacking in some motivation then. So until like second, third year, it was mostly I was just going throughout my course and I didn't have any idea like what to do. So I got introduced to different coding platforms. So but that didn't excited me much because it was lacking some kind of development there, and I was like more into like building stuff which can be used by different people. That it somehow gives me some satisfaction by developing those things. So I wanted to have a mix of both the worlds, the raw coding as well as building stuff. So I got one opportunity, which was TCS Code Beta. TCS Code Beta is a coding contest organized by TCS. It has roughly 6 questions. During my time that I remember in 2018, it had roughly 6 questions. I really finished and submitted 2 questions. Based on those 2 questions, they called me for the interview. Interview went pretty well because apart from the normal coding stuff, they also asked me different things like what's the full stack application, how's the front end working, how's the back end working, how APIs are interacting. So for a student of third year in 2018, it was a huge thing to do. So based on that, they decided that they would offer me TCS digital job, and I was very happy. It was during 2019, my third year of my college, when I got the offer from TCS digital. I was very excited that yeah, I've made something, I've done something in my life, it was my first job. I was very excited, and for me, TCS truly was a very big company. So yeah, I had a long dream of like someday I would go, and then suddenly I had a job offer, and everyone in my family was very excited about it. So that's how I got my first TCS job offer. And after that, I stopped looking at my placement because I thought that was the end of the world. After graduating from college, when I actually stepped into the corporate world, I felt a little bullied by the people who say that you're working in TCS. But for me, it was never that scene. For me, TCS was a great company. Still now, it's a great company to work at if you're aiming right. Somehow I felt that it was not that I'm working in TCS, but it was that I'm lacking some knowledge that is like restricting me to join bigger companies. So that kind of opinions and different statements I used to hear regularly. So what I did is I challenged myself. I took it as a challenge that if other people can do it, why not me? So that's how I started my preparation. So it was, I think it was during the COVID time when I first got to know. I still have that notebook in which I have written the target companies that I want to focus on. So first on the list was Amazon, second on the list was Google, third on the list was Facebook. It was called Facebook back then, and then fourth on the list was Microsoft. And I still had that notebook with me because it gives me a nostalgic feeling that this is what I have written and this is what I have achieved right now. So first thing first, I first of all, for me, I don't know what is the path, what was the roadmap. So for me, first I need to crave out a roadmap. I need to crave out a path in which I need to follow. And there's tons of syllabus and then tons of topic that is available over the internet. But I think during that period, there was very less tutorials and very less solutions over the YouTube, and all different websites. And I think lead code, we mostly had discussion forums and code editorial. So the content during that time was pretty less, I think. So for me, what I had to do, I have to like cut out through different topics, what topics I need to go through. So based on all the research, I spent like 1.5 months on that, and I figured out, okay, these are the topics that I want to focus on. First of all, I need to have a syllabus before I can get into studying something. I compared the situation with my JEE time. In JEE, I knew that, okay, standard 11, this is the topic that I want to do in mathematics. Standard 12, these are the topics that I want to do in mathematics. Similar thing we have to do in BSc as well. I need to figure out what are the topics. In those individual topics, what are the concepts? What are the individual subsets of those concepts that I need to do? After creating that list of topics, creating that subsets, creating all the important concepts that I need to focus on, I had my syllabus ready. Now I went out to Google. I followed different websites. I followed GFG. I followed LeetCode. I completed all those topics. I started learning all those topics as well as I was implementing them at a code base, and I was saving that code base. So I was using an online ID so that I can save it in the cloud. I was keeping all the things that I was practicing in the cloud, so that even if I want to revise, I can do it quickly. So what I remember is the first 2-3 months went on with like studying different topics. Like I started off with array, I started off with stack, I started off with kilo. I didn't touch the advanced topics like programming, graph, all those topics I kept it for later. So once I figured out all the topics that I needed to do, I could like reach it in Amazon. And the next thing is, and the important thing before that was, in Amazon I didn't know what will they are, because I had a perception that of to join a company like Amazon, to join a company like Microsoft or Google, you need to be a very good programmer, you need to be a very good at coding. That's not the case. Companies are looking for a mix of both things. One is like you need to have a good programmer quality, which doesn't restrict you to coding, but it also involves you like doing some problem solving, solving a problem at an easy pace. The one thing that I know about Amazon, for Amazon, companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, it only the coding is not the part that is required. There are other things as well. You need to be a smart programmer. Like you need to solve problems which are there, which are recurring, which you need to solve at a like very short span of time. So all those things are there. It's not only about the coding. Second is you need to have good leadership principles. Like how do you portray yourself? How do you like handle a situation between you and your colleagues? So there are different situations you need to handle. So I believe these leadership principles and these behavioral things will mostly come from hackathons. Like when you participate in hackathons, you know you have to create teams and you need to work as a team. There, like you will get ad hoc problems. You will face multiple challenges which you have to solve during that particular time. And that will, for a student, I think that will give you a experience. Because other than that, I don't think you have anything in the college days that would give such kind of experience to you. So hackathons are important. Like, even if you don't know anything, just participate in. You'll at least learn something. Because I've seen people knowing nothing, they don't even know HTML, CSS, and when they come out of hackathon, they at least know things which they didn't know earlier. And hackathon like gives you like fast-paced learning, like 10 hours of hackathon, 16 hours of hackathon, and you come out with something you didn't know, you didn't have earlier. So that's how hackathon works. So yeah, so that also works for Amazon. Second is you need to have a coding knowledge. With coding knowledge, like you need to have well-versed data structure knowledge. You need to have well-versed algorithmic knowledge. So combining all those things, like data structure, algorithm, and your hackathon skills, I think that will give you an edge. When I was preparing, the topics that I initially focused on, I started preparing those topics. I completed those topics. Then I had to focus on two things. One was the revision, which I already like for the topics which I've already prepared. Next is for the newer topics that I want to prepare. After over like 3 to 4 months of time, I felt that I was fully prepared with all the topics. And this was like me. I was doing the stuff mostly alone. At that time, I was also working in TCS. So during the evening times and during the free times, the free period, whenever I used to get, I used to like open lead code and I used to just go through the coding editorials. And also I had one other thing in my mind. So If given a chance to go back to my college days, what things that I could do different was I could spend more time on a problem compared to now. Because now when I'm working in TCS, I didn't have the liberty of the time. So for me, I have to restrict myself to 20 minutes to 25 minutes. If a problem is not getting solved within that span, what I used to do, I just used to go to the coding editorials. I used to read the solution. I used to implement that idea on my own. There are few problems which I cannot implement, while there are those problems which I could implement just by reading the code editorial. So the problems for which I could not implement, I used to like see the code, I used to see the implementation, how it can be done. And like for a problem, there are like multiple steps. There are like multiple solutions available. It's not like you can solve it in one step or using just one way. So there are like multiple ways you can solve it. And I used to implement all those ways. Not because I want to do it, but I had an interest, like knowing how a problem is getting built from a very simple brute solution to a best solution. So that interest was there to see the transition between different problems, from a brute to optimal to the best solution. So there was a transition. And sometimes the mediocre problem has more implementation compared to the optimal problem. So that will also give you an hands-on on the different data structures that you are practicing. So I used to like dedicate myself and do it lovingly, not because I have to do it, because I want to enjoy that phase of my life. Because it's already late because I've not been prepared in college, and now when I'm doing it, I want to give my 100% of my time and do it with all the joy. So after like 4 months of preparing, I felt little confident that I can apply to interviews. I started applying to startups before. I started with small scale startups who were asking me this problem. For me, I felt it was initially it felt a little difficult because I had problem in explaining myself, the thought process, because I have not practiced with time. The timing here is very important because our interview consists of 45 minutes to 1 hour. And after like feeling 1 2 interviews of different startups, I understood I have to like once I know DSA, that is not enough. Apart from DSA, you also have to like manage your time, like how you do it. Okay. So managing time, like I used to start a timer. My target was like solving 2 medium level questions in 40 minutes. So that is how I used to target. And also I used to keep a camera on. And also I used to keep a timer on. So with that, I somehow like so there was also a stress kind of situation because if you keep the camera on, you'll keep getting distracted. So with these two things that helped me actually cope with my target. I actually restricted myself to 40 minutes to solve 2 questions, and I like somehow made it to 40 minutes that I was able to solve 2 questions. Now, like I have to implement that thing in the actual interview. So uh, then I like, got an opportunity for giving Amazon interview, and I thought now I'm well prepared. I don't want to miss that opportunity. So I given my first round. It went well. I given my second round. It also went well. Second round, I was little bit of worried because there was a question which was unseen, and I was not able to come up with the best solution, but it was a between solution between the root and the best one. So it was an average solution, and I thought it would like stop me from getting into Amazon, but I don't think it made any difference. So I was called with the recruiter, and the recruiter told me we are moving to the next round. So I felt very excited. Yeah, I'm moving to the hiring manager round. So the hiring manager round again, it was a mix of both the things, coding as well as the leadership principles. Coding was doable; it was easy. So then I moved to the hiring manager round. So hiring manager round was a mix of both the ways, so coding as well as leadership principles. So coding, I think it was easy. Leadership principles, there they asked me different kind of scenario-based question. But for me, during that time, only had 1 year of experience, and I didn't have such scenarios in my head. But it is very important that you need to answer them pretty well. So I used to take examples from a hackathon days, how I was stuck in a situation. And using those ideas, using those scenarios, I was able to come up with the answer. And I think that went pretty well. That is the reason I was moved to the next round, which was bar race round. And in Amazon, I think bar race round is a very unique round because it doesn't only test you on coding. Coding and technical stuff you have already done in the last 3 rounds. That means you're eligible for a you are eligible for Amazon in terms of technical. Now you have to be eligible in terms of a leadership quality. So that is a bar raiser round where like you have to like explain things, do something so that can prove your leadership qualities. So the bar raiser round for me, I cannot disclose the question, but it was mostly the scenario based and it is the way you are answering the question. So that went well. And then finally, one fine day, I got a result from the recruiter saying, congratulations. So that was my first big fan company, which I cracked. And that gave me so much of confidence that it boosted me in a way that, yeah, 1 year back, I was the one who was very worried, who didn't know how to code properly. When I got the mail, I was very excited that finally, yeah, I made it to a company which I cracked out. And it's a very big thing for me because 1 year back, I was the one who didn't know how to code properly. So coding for me 1 year back was only for you and if and statement. And now when I see myself, I see a huge difference. So it's not like I'm comparing myself to someone else. It's like it was like me versus me. 1 year before me, 1 year now. So there's a huge difference. The difference is I've worked on myself and I worked on myself because I felt that that was missing in me, and I think other people was able to achieve it. So why not me? So that was one big motivation. So when I cracked Amazon, it gave me a confidence that the path I was following was a little different from the usual track, but it was the right one because it's not like everyone has to like follow the herd and do like follow the same thing. Right? You can achieve things differently provided that you know what your target is, what your dream, or what your goal is. So I've seen a lot of tier three students, especially the tier three students from colleges. The only thing they are lacking is lack of that is confidence. So I think that is because of the JEE preparation and somehow they didn't make it to the college they are targeting. They landed up in a very different college and that made all the difference. And that also like that is very practical to lose the confidence. So that happened with me, that can happen with anyone else. But once like I did all this thing, I did the preparation and once I got in Amazon, it also gave me the boost of confidence that yeah, you can do these things. The lack of confidence is the only thing that is missing. But I think that can be covered up. Provided that you just focus on what you're targeting, you just focus on studying, you just focus on building your skills, and that would make all the difference. So yeah, that is how I got landed in Amazon.
Okay, so Gurtej, this was your first big offer, like
Yeah.
first big offer from the FAANG companies, and this was the entry point into the big leagues. Now, if we see into your journey, you also got into Microsoft, you are now getting into Meta. So, how did this Amazon tag help you make the next switches? And what do you think about other people who normally wants to get into Microsoft at entry level, or maybe they want to get into Meta at entry level? What difference it can create if you compare yourself, your path with others that you have already got a FAANG offer, you have already worked in a FAANG company? What difference this initial tag and not having a tag can create for your next job opportunity?
Not having a tag will make things a little bit difficult for me because the resume nowadays you get lot of applications and it will get rejected or maybe for some reasons you will not be highlighted. There are I think various course that is going on and maybe your CV won't be like, selected for the next trend round. So having a tag is only like help in filtration. So I felt that having Amazon tag really helped me best few interviews. Like I had opportunity to give other interviews as well. But one thing I like to mention, like even if you do not have any tags before me joining Amazon, I don't have any tags or very big names. One thing that was highlighted in my resume was the projects and the hackathons that I've been participated because that will help you build your experience. It will help you build a complicated project, okay, some complex problem. And there's a difference between building projects and building projects in hackathon. Hackathon is a very fast-paced scenario which will help you like think very dynamically during that period of time because problem statement may change because of the judge. So because of the one who is evaluating, they may give you a different idea, and if you implement that idea in that period of time, that will make all the difference. So it will give an experience on how to like think dynamically, how to think in fast-paced manner. So if you have a tag of any like, good companies, it will obviously help you in getting the next interviews quickly because it will be like, shortlisted by recruiters easily. While not having a tag will obviously help. You'll have some difficulties, but it's not the end of the world. You need to like highlight your projects in a way like you just don't need to like say okay this is what a project does. You have to say this is how it saved the cost, this is how it impacted the users, how it is like spreading throughout the world, like what impact it is making to different users. So there are different factors that you need to like bring out of projects. Like even for a simple calculator app, like, if you see recently Apple has launched a new update where they have introduced an Apple calculator app. So it's just a calculator app, but it has all the different features. It has all the AI features. It has all the different calculating features that they didn't have earlier. So it doesn't mean that building a calculator is a waste of time. You build a calculator, but you like highlight all the things that will impact people's learning, that will impact the user experience. So getting those things out of a project is important, and that is what I feel is missing in most of the resumes. So
Got it. Got it. So, I saw recently a lot of candidates are applying, and the competition has grown over the years. Like the competition in 2018, 2019 was not as the competition as it is right now. So, many of the applicants get rejected even before giving the online assessments, even before giving the interviews. What do you think is creating the major difference? Is it with the system? Is the flaw with the system, or is the flaw with the candidates who are maybe applying in a wrong way? So, what do you think is the problem? Is a major problem that's not allowing these candidates to sit for the interviews, not allowing these candidates to even get to that entry point where they can opt for that particular interview of that company.
okay, so what I feel is the headcounts that different company has. Now it's not like if you prepare and you will get an interview. It's not the case like that because it's very different from JE because in JE you know that if you perform well, you'll definitely get a seat. But here it's like it depends on the business side. So if the business is not performing well, they may not have headcounts. But if business is performing very well, they will have new headcounts for R&D, for innovations, and things will go on. And then there are like attrition rate, which is there in different companies. So to backfill those, also the headcounts get released. So I think it mostly depends on that. But considering the population of India, the population that we in India have for engineering graduates, that is also a concerning thing because there are more number of graduates who are doing engineering just for the sake of campus placement. Because I think ultimate goal of every graduate is to have a job, get their family settled. So that's the ultimate goal of every graduate to support their families. And with that, they know engineering is a path where you will get a campus placement. And I think that is also an issue because one should have an interest before doing engineering. Because I've seen a lot of people who just for the sake of getting a job comes into engineering because they don't have any other option. But their interest lies totally in a different direction. So that is also one thing. And I feel that if you are really interested in computer engineering and that interest will allow you to build stuff, that interest will allow you to learn new things, learn new skills, and that will keep you growing. And I think that will help you get placed in best companies, like in the companies that you are targeting. Because for me, I was into the computer stuff during a very small age. Like I think when I was a kid, I used to like go to cyber cafes. I used to play around with different software. I used to like. What I feel is, if you have an interest, that will keep you going because that interest will keep your hunger for learning new skills more and more. So that will also help you grow and achieving your target that you set. Yeah, it's a mix of both the things. There are like few things which are flawed because I think the interview and the efforts are not totally dependent on how much of hard work you have done. It's also depends on the like who is the one who's taking an interview, like how is the mood of that interview. Maybe we have asked some easy question to a different candidate versus you. So there's around like mix of both the things, like 80% of your hard work and 20% of the luck. And then again, there is a flaw in like how many headcounts do they have. Even if you prepared for a year and when you are about to apply for the role, maybe that job role is not available for you. I do feel there is a flaw in the system, like in the way the resume is getting shortlisted. It depends on like one or more thing. Like luck is also a factor. That's a permanent factor there. Um, you need to have some kind of luck with you apart from the technical knowledge there, because you never know how an interviewer is, whether he's having a bad day, he's having a good day. Maybe they've asked an easy question versus like they have not asked you a very easy question. They have asked you a difficult question compared to the other. So I feel there is some flaw that is there in the system while the recruitment process, which is like shortlisting the resume based on different candidates. And it's not the fault of recruiters as well, because for them they are having like thousands of applications for a single job role, and it is very difficult for them to apply. As well as the same time for a student like who is like seeking a new job opportunity. Some of the students I've seen they randomly like make cold applying, cold emailing different HRs, different recruiters. So it's just like you have to keep on going. You cannot stop in between. So
I also certainly feel that many candidate after the influence of many influencers as such on YouTube, on LinkedIn, they started doing DSA and they went into competitive programming platforms. They went on doing that for 6 7 months. They got very good ranks. They got very good into very good leagues. Like they got into expert. So they got into code forces as candidate masters. But after that, they did not look into development a lot. They did not pursue development in a particular domain for a longer period of time. They went on to do maybe 2 3 projects. They kept it into their resume and they started applying randomly to any job they could find over the internet. That's a major problem. I also feel everyone should be learning right from the start. They should be learning a particular domain, and if they're learning a particular domain over the years, definitely they are going to get a job in that particular domain, irrespective of what the market situation is, because they will be one of the best in that particular domain by the end of their college years. So this is what also I perfectly feel.
that's right. I feel like most of this is a kind of a trading scheme. Like if I do this much of DSA, I'll be able to fetch this amount of job, X amount of jobs. But that's not the case. You have to build yourself overall. It's just not the DSA that the company is looking for. They want an overall good computer programmer who can like keep the things in the company going on. It's not like your day-to-day life looks like you just go to work or you just go from 9 to 5. For me, typical day is like I spend 20-30% of the time coding, next 20-30% of the time researching or deep diving on something, and then there are follow-up meetings and interacting with other folks. So this is how a typical day looks like. And for building such a habit, it's the BSA is not the only thing that is required. We need to build yourself overall. So I suggest keep on participating more in the collaborative projects. You can be more active on GitHub or open source platform. Be very active on such open source platforms. Contribute to your coding there and contribute yourself more in the open source platform or different like as I told like hackathons can be really useful for that. The coding platforms are there. It will help you build the pace that you want to like finish a code in 30 minutes. You want to finish a code in 15, 20 minutes. That is there. So coding context will help you with that, no problem. And for the other skills, the behavioral skills, I think we'll get it from him. So be a good programmer, like build yourself in a way that company wants you to look at. Because for a company, they want a whole programmer that they can hire and then they can continue the stuff on their own. The ownership is a very big quality that companies are looking for. So ownership can only be come from if you know what are the things that you want to focus on next. Because for you, if you don't know what to focus on, then I think company won't help you in that. You need to first know yourself. You need to first target on what are the things that you want to look upon, what are the things you want to target on next. And then by doing these things, you'll have some sense of ownership. So by having this ownership, it will help you in the company as well. And once you pick up a project, once you pick up a small task, you will treat it as your own product, as your own finished starter. that you want to look at, even if that fails at any hour, you just go, you'll help sort it out, you'll help sort the problems there. So that's the ownership the company is looking for, and it is very different from the coding skills that one has.
So yeah, Gurtej, like let's talk about your next journey, that is Meta London. During my time, I also gave a lot of interviews here in India, also abroad. I also got many offers, international offers, like from Amazon London, from D. Shaw Luxembourg, from Goldman Sachs Warsaw. So I want to know right now what exactly is the situation. It's 2024 now. I gave back in 2022. So right now, what exactly is the situation? What do you feel is the difference, major difference when you are interviewing here in India and when you are interviewing abroad? So you have also got a lot of other offers here in India right now. So what exactly do you feel the major difference right now is?
So, okay, the one major difference I would like to talk about is the population that we have in India. It is very difficult for any interviewer or any recruiter to shortlist a candidate because there are tons of candidates, and like, so out of 100 candidates that you are interviewing, even if you shortlist 10 candidates for any FAANG-based company, out of those 10 candidates, 8 candidates would still be able to clear all the technical rounds, and still you won't be able to decide like which candidate to pick and which not to pick. So it's a very difficult situation here. Versus the situation outside is the application numbers are not that huge that we have in India. So it is the process that is restricting us. So the interview, there will be differences in the level of difficulties of interview, but that doesn't mean the interviews are pretty easy outside and interviews are pretty difficult in India. It's just the initial phase that is very difficult. So if you look overall, I feel the interview structure is safe for. It is uniform throughout the world. It's not like in India they have difficult interviews or in the US they have easy interviews. So the interview format is pretty uniform all over the world. So over the journey when I look at, so I've been started preparing for DSA. So now I have like that level of knowledge which is required to crack a pan-based company. I thought I would go for an international job opportunity. So this time I thought I would shortlist few companies which are hiring from abroad. So Meta was a company that I found. I started looking out for the interview experiences, how is the interview with Meta. So it's a very streamlined process, and one thing they focus on is the system design. And for me, the system design was a very new topic. I have given system design interview in Microsoft, but for Meta it was a pretty different because they have a very much standard set for system design interviews. So I found that there was an interview book for system design by Alex. So for me, I consider that as a Bible for system design because it has an ultimate all the things that you need for a system design interview. Maybe few things will be missing like LLD or design patterns, but overall it does a pretty good job over in preparing you for the system design interview. So the system design was one part in Meta interview which is very much highlighted and which is very much focused on because that is the factor that decides whether you will be hired or not. The interviews and the coding rounds in Meta are like pretty much standard. They have two coding rounds. They'll ask you two medium questions or one hard or one easy question. And yeah, one thing they focus on is the time. Like time is a very important factor there. Like in 35 minutes of time, you have to come up with a solution. So that's one thing. The system design is pretty heavy on the framework that they follow. I think if you read the book, you'll know what the framework is, like how to answer a system design question. But again, it requires a lot of practice, and it doesn't mean that the question that you're preparing it will come directly out of the book. So there can be a mix of 2 to 3 different problems or different concepts, and you mix your knowledge and answer them. So that was another challenge which I faced, and I enjoyed that. For me now, when I look at the things, now I know DSA, now I know system design. I'm also doing well in development. So I feel overall that I'm going towards the right track. I'm being true to my programmer self that okay, the things that I've been doing is right. And yeah, then finally I've given the interview after a week's time. I got the result that I've been selected, and it's very excited for me. It's the first time that I'll be going abroad for this job. So I'm very excited. Let's see how things go on.
So Definitely, we will get into another podcast with you when you are in London. Maybe we can reach out to you then and have your experience. Tell them about your stay in London, about the company, about the culture, and how is the work-life balance difference in London and India. So definitely, we will have a podcast then. So, Gurtej, like the big surprise that we had for all the students of interview call. So everyone, we do have Gurtej as one of our major instructors here at Interview Call. Is going to give you instruction on the full stack web development module present in our Interview Call program. So Gurtej, over to you. How you are going to help the students of Interview Call in the full stack web development module in the upcoming days?
So yeah, one thing again, thank you for having me, Samir. Before the battle of interview preparation comes the battle of mind. So if you've come this far, so definitely together we can go a little more. So I think this course is like pretty very well planned and structured by the team, and we are going to focus on full stack, the front end to back end. We'll cover all the APIs that are involved, all the databases, different kind of databases, system design as well, all the different things that are involved in system design. And yeah, after full stack, we'll be focusing on system design. And system design, it doesn't mean only like doing just the theoretical part. We're going to actually implement those things in practical and have some sound knowledge on DevOps as well. So that like once we have built the apps, how we can monitor those applications. And it's pretty excited for this course. I feel this course is like very different from the courses that are available in the market. It's not only like focusing on the theoretical aspects and just the practical aspect, but so this course will also help you how to scale your application, how to like make an impact to the users. This course will not only help you just build a project for your resume, but it also help you with building the actual customer base, actual number of active users that are out there, and how you can scale your application with the number of active users increasing. So I feel it's like very practical thing to do for a developer. I'm very excited for that.
So yeah, Gurtej, thank you for giving the brief about the program, and definitely we are very excited to have you with us in the team, and definitely it's going to be one of the biggest experiences of mine till now and of the entire team to have you with us. I have someone who is going to abroad and in parallel helping the students here in India upskill themselves and grow them to a particular field and to a particular dream company which Gurtej has already cracked and will help you crack those two. So yeah, Gurtej, thank you once again for helping us here, for being in the team and helping the students in the upcoming months and years to come.